I've told the story many times, but Larry is one of my mentors when I was getting started in broadcasting. He was a guy I would listen to get an idea of how to do interviews. You like Larry too, right, Pedro?
Oh, he's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Definitely. There's nobody, storyteller like him. There's nobody out there right now that can tell the story the way he does.
And he knows everything about everybody. How old is Larry right now? Quick, before you can hear us on hold.
He's 155.
Yeah, come on.
It got to be 80s, right?
What'd you say, Eric? Eric's holding up a
yeah, there's still on the previous interview. Should be another minute or so, but he's 80.
80.
He's 80. Okay, yeah. Elder statesman of interviewing, and great guy. Now, I met Larry King. I've met him many times. I've been on his show a bunch of times when I did some crazy radio promotions. And I met him at a radio convention when I was, had to be like maybe 30, 28, 29. So when I was like Keith and Andrew's age,
Wow.
here was this guy who was like 45, 50? Yeah, that would be 50. And so he was a senior guy then. And I would go up to him and ask him for advice about being in radio. Mr. King. He was always, he would.
Well, he was kind of your age now. If I'm doing the math correctly, you were about your son's age, and he was about the age you are now.
Yeah, a little bit younger
Yeah.
than I am now.
Yeah.
And he took the time and signed my book and was very, very influential. Now, some people say he's a softball interviewer. I look at it a different way. He's a respectful interviewer. He tends to respect his guest, which is something we adopted on this show with very few exceptions. I mean, it takes like your sister, it takes a lot to earn our disrespect.
One Kim Kardashian for every 100 people who have a lovely interview.
Exactly. There is not a person on the planet who's had an opportunity to sit down with more important, powerful, and famous people than the gentleman joining us this morning. From presidents to pop stars, Larry King has interviewed them all, and he continues to do so on Larry King Now, which you can view at ora.tv and on Hulu. Larry also sits down and talks politics on Politic King, available on ora.tv and Hulu. Larry King is a true legend in the media and broadcasting businesses, and as I was just telling the audience here before he got on hold, a mentor of mine, someone who taught me a lot about interviewing in a very short period of time. Larry King, welcome to the Bob Rivers Show. How are you?
Bob, it's great to be with you, and congratulations on the Seahawks, and the Mariners are going to have a good year. And I remember when you did that Baltimore gig.
Wow. Now, that was when I was on your show.
Yeah, because you were on until the Orioles lost 22 in a row that year.
It was 21, but thank you for exaggerating.
Yeah.
And by the way, Larry, when you brought me on your show that night, I was scared to death to be on your show.
Why?
I was very nervous. I was a young broadcaster, and you were the big Larry King on the Mutual Network.
Wow.
And I got to tell you a brief story, because I don't think I've ever told you this. Here I am, a little kid on hold, sitting in a little room, going to go on with Larry King. And I find out that on the show that night, you had Joe Garagiola and you had a young Bob Costas. And the three of you were on together. And I thought, oh, my God, these big, huge sports names. And I'm just a little kid doing a radio promotion for the Orioles. I'm nervous. And you gave me an introduction, Larry. You started off, you said, there's a guy in Baltimore who loves his baseball team. He's one of the best baseball fans there ever was. He has people driving around with the headlights on. He has his team rallying. He has fans rallying on around a team that's lost 12 games in a row. He's taken something negative and turned it around. And by the way, as you're doing this, I'm listening to you and I'm going, yeah, I'm pretty good.
Nice.
By the time you introduced me and said, welcome, you're on the air, I wasn't nervous anymore.
Well, that was my secret. My goal in life was to make Bob Rivers.
No. Well, we talked about how you love to make guests feel warm and welcome, and how you get more out of them if you're nice to them. And a lot of people aren't nice to guests, and you were always very respectful of your guests.
I always felt that you learn more. And I was never kind to the point where I didn't ask tough questions, but there's a way to ask questions. And I found that I had a niche in the way to do that, in a style that I bring with me to this very day. And that is, my job is to learn. Like this week on Hulu, we're doing all showrunners week. These are guys who run television shows. They're the executive producers. The new name is showrunners.
Right. Now, is a showrunner the guy who is pitching the show to various networks?
It starts from the pitch to the hiring of the directors, the writers, everything. He's the showrunner. It's a new term. Is everything. And we've had the showrunners from Lost and the Bates Motel and Cougar Town and Orphan Black and The Walking Dead and The Vampire Diaries and Person of Interest. And so what I see it as, I'm learning all the time, Bob. It's a learning experience.
Still.
And when you want to learn, you ask good questions and you listen to the answers. And if you're rough to the guest or bad to the guest, or you make the guest defensive, that's a great way not to learn.
Sure, they'll put up a wall and they won't want to answer your question. Yeah.
Put a wall up, and why would you want a wall?
Sure.
So I'm there to learn, and I've doing it for 57 years. Must have done something right.
Larry, how is it being on the internet? There are some people doing shows on the internet, like Mark Maron, and they're developing monstrous followings, and they say they have more creative control, more freedom. Is that the case for you?
Oh, absolutely true. On the internet, while we have certainly, first I own 20% of the show. Carlos Slim, the richest man in the world, owns 80%. He put up the money. But he never interferes with me. I talk to him maybe once every 3 months. So even though we have people like exec producers and stuff, and no one comes in and tells me what to do, there's no pressure, and no pressure. And so I create my own pressure. I don't need any external people to tell me what to do, and it's a joyful way to work. However, I'm still doing what I always did. I'm still asking questions, still interviewing guests. I rely on other people to book the guests. I don't book the guests. But it's a wonderful way to work.
Now, was there, when you were on TV, to me, and this is to me, I don't know, I'm not putting this on you, maybe you would agree, but to me, cable TV has gotten very lowbrow in the way it sensationalizes everything, and I felt like that they were always, like they did with this Malaysian Airlines thing, that they were always just beating the drum, trying to get people to watch without necessarily
watching, but that's
without learning anything. Actually,
it's not creative. There are so many bigger stories than this missing airliner. For example, the GM recall is 100 times bigger. 6 people have been killed. 2 million cars have been recalled. Heads are rolling. There may be criminal indictments. And we're talking about, and all we've learned, I laugh at CNN because, I loved working at CNN. But this has been 4.5 weeks. And do you know what we know? The plane made a left turn.
That's it.
That's all we've learned in 4.5 weeks. And they keep going to this. It becomes laughable. It really is. They're doing what they're feeding the public rather than leading the public. They're letting the public lead them. And obviously there's enough people interested in this that watch it every day. All you need is 3%.
That's all you need to be big, yeah. Now, you have Larry King now, and you also have Politic King. Give me a quick take.
That once a week. That's strictly a political show.
All right, quick take, politically speaking, U.S., Russia, Crimea. Is President Obama kind of ineffective here? Is Putin a bad guy? What's going on?
He's in a bind. Putin is a bad guy. Putin's logic is that these are my people, and they always were, but that was Hitler's logic in the Sudetenland. However, we are doing strong things. We've cut him off at a lot of areas. In the area of world respect, they've lost a ton of respect that he gained in the Olympics. He lost that. In the end run, the West will win this. Power diminishes itself. So Obama was caught in what now, I love a lot of people who criticize him. You see this a lot on cable TV. But then when I ask, what would you do? Do you want to send troops on the ground? Do you know any American who would send a troop to the Ukraine? None. We're done with war, I think, and that's a good thing.
Larry King. Larry, I know you're on a short schedule this morning. We'll talk to you more, but thank you very much. Take care. We'll post it on the website, bobrivers.com. Larry King now and Politic King. There he goes. I love that voice.
It's exciting for you.
It was exciting.
Yeah.
Short, but exciting.
He's the best. I remember